Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices, and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Gencon is this week. So right now I'm going to put out 2 videos this week. This one are the best games that I've already played and I know I like that you can check out at Gencon. This to me is my better list because this is one that is more tried and true. It's more games that I can already tell you that are good. Tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a video of my top 10 most anticipated games that are releasing there. And those are games that I have not yet played but I'm excited about. So this one of the ones I know are good. Here we go.
Number 9.
Now number 9 is called The Night Cage. Now this is a fully cooperative horror-themed tile placement game that traps 1 to 5 lost souls within an unnatural labyrinth of eternal darkness. Now to win, players must each collect a key, find a gate, and escape as a group. Now, escaping won't be easy as each player's visibility is limited by the weak light of their candle. Now, they only illuminate tiles directly connected to their own, and when players move, tiles that fall outside of that one spot darkness are removed from the game. Now, doubling back the way you came only opens new paths, the old ones being lost forever, with critical keys and gates vanishing if your light moves away from them. Now, you want to try to stay together. This game's pretty clever. And you want to stay together to kind of reveal less tiles at a time because more monsters might be coming out and monsters can attack more of you together, but it's tough decisions because whether to stay together or venture out because you still got to find those keys and those escapes. So this game has some really interesting things going on. You're working together. The light mechanism here is just really, really cool. And it's just a really fun experience. One of those games you play with the lights down, some candles going, and it's a great experience. 1 to 5 players, 40 to 60 minutes from Smirk and Dagger Games. They're at booth 2323.
Number 8.
Number 8 is a game that was on Kickstarter recently, so my guess is it's not going to be there for sale, but you can definitely go and play it. This is called Mosaic. This is a big, epic civilization game. Now this is for 2 to 6 players. It's 90 minutes to 120 minutes to play. It's from Forbidden Games, and this game, I don't typically like really big, heavy games. Now, disclaimer, I did do a sponsored preview for this game, but bigger games I don't tend to love unless they're excellent. This one has the feeling of like a big, epic civilization game, but it's not like drowned down by a bunch of useless spreadsheets and mechanisms. It's a very streamlined civilization game that's still pretty big and epic, but it's based on a lot of engine building and card drafting and card playing. And you're trying to build up different engines that are going to give you different control. Sure, there's some control of areas. You're trying to have the most in different areas and things like that. But there's a lot of other strategies in this game. And again, the big thing here is the engine building. It feels more like an engine builder than it does as a civilization game, but you really are making a civilization. There's lots of different paths to choose from, a lot of different strategies. So if you like those bigger games, but you want one to be like more streamlined, and you like drafting and you like engine building, but you also like civilization games, Mosaic is one to check out. This is from Forbidden Games, and they're in booths 2111 and 2311.
Number 7.
The next one is number 7. This is called The Spill. Now, disclaimer, I did just do an official sponsored rule school of this because it's on Kickstarter right now, today or tomorrow as Gen Con goes live. This is called The Spill. Now, this game is a cooperative game where you're all environmental experts trying to stop the oil spill from happening into the ocean, and you're trying to also rescue marine animals. Now this game, again, it's a cooperative game where these oil dice are gonna be coming down this amazingly cool dice tower. It's gonna be coming out into different grids, and that's basically oil. The dice are oil. It's gonna be going in different spots depending on the side that they rolled on and where on the board they landed. And players gotta try to stop the spills and try to take them out before they get too heavy, because if there's too many spills, you'll lose the game. They're also spilling into marine animals, and those animals they're getting full of contamination, and you're trying to save those as well. And so it has a really unique theme. Everyone has a special ability. And it's just really unique. I would call this sort of a pandemic wait game as a cooperative game, but the theme's awesome, the art's great, the dice tower is cool, it's thematic. You're able to, if you do enough really good things, you'll get some really cool abilities that you can trigger right away, and or when you want, and they do cool things, and everybody is their own environmentalist has cool abilities. This one's really cool. If you like sort of standard sort of cooperative games, you want one with a cool sort of table presence and some great art and a cool theme, the Spills one to check out. It takes about 50 minutes to play, just less than an hour. And this is also from Smirk and Dagger Games. They're at booth 2323.
Number 6.
This next one is number 6 here, which is odd because the game is called 10. Now 10 is a very sort of light set collection game. This game, I believe it's designed by the same people that did Point Salad, which was amazing, also done by AEG. This game is a push your luck set collection game. It looks like and feels like it could be a classic game, but it does have a more modern look, even though the game looks like a classic game. Now this game, you're pushing your luck trying to get numbers. You're trying to get numbers from 1 to 9, because if you can get all 9 numbers in a suit, you're gonna get 1 point for each card plus a bonus point, 10 points. Hence the game's name is 10. But it's so interesting because you're trying to push your luck to win these cards. And as you push your luck, you're getting closer to busting. But there's other cards that you're not collecting, and this gives players currency. But those cards also make it a little easier to not bust, or it makes it's harder to bust. But if you get too many of those cards, you could bust in the other direction. So it's almost like this very unique teeter-totter of pressure luck that I'd never seen before. The other cool thing is lots of player interaction, because when you take things, you might take numbers to try to get points at the end of the game, but you're leaving currency and the other players get that currency. Why do you need currency? Because if someone busts, all these cards that they could have bought are now in a market. At the end of your turn, you can use currency to buy those, and you're going through an auction. It's like a very simple, classic feeling game that has enough going on that makes it super interesting for gamers as well. 10 is fantastic. This is probably going to be on my short list for sort of family game, card game, push your luck game of the year type of thing. 1 to 5 players, 15 to 30 minutes, and it's at the booth of AEG Alderac Entertainment.
Number 5.
Number 5 is a game I have fallen in love with. It's designed by Phil Walker Harding, who in my opinion is one of the best designers in the world. This is called Super Mega Lucky Box. Crazy, silly name. Don't take the game seriously. The game looks cool. This game essentially is like bingo for gamers or non-gamers, because you can play this with, I recently had a game party and had plenty of people that had never played hobby games before, taught them this game and they got it right away. Play this with gamers. Gamers love it too, because this game has a ton of combo building. You start with these cards, it looks like sort of like the Price is Right, sort of like old style, and there's numbers 1 through 9. And every round, essentially 9 different cards are being pulled, but they're random. So you don't know. There might be 2 1s or 3, or 1 1. You don't know. So you pull a card out, and everyone gets to mark off that number. The kicker is that anytime you finish a row or a column, you're getting a bonus. And these bonuses combo and chain together. So you might go, oh, I finished this row, I get a 6. This 6 allows me to put a 6 here, which gets me at any number. I get any number, and I get this lightning bolt. There's lightning bolts that allow you to manipulate the dice. So if someone flips over a card and it's a 5, it's like, I can spend 2 lightning bolts to make that 5 a 7. And this triggers this, which triggers that, which triggers this. Sometimes you chain like 4 or 5 together, and it's like amazing. It's so fun. There's also moons that you can win. The one who has the most gets plus 6 points at the end, minus 6 points for who has the least. Phil Walker Harding, how you doing? Sushi Go with the desserts. This game is it's definitely one of the best fillers that have come out in a while. This is fantastic. Everyone I played this with so far has just bought it on site. Gamers, non-gamers. This is going to be one of the most talked about and played little filler games that's come out in this year, and I think we're going to be playing this game for years to come. 1 to 6 players, 20 minutes, game right. That's who makes this. This is booth 2002.
Number 4.
Number 4 is a game called The Stuff of Legend, and disclaimer, I did do a sponsored preview of this game that's probably it's probably not even live when this video goes live. It's going to be later during Gencon, but I wanted to disclaim that for you. This game is designed by Kevin Wilson, who's done a lot of huge thematic epic games. This game is really interesting. It is a cooperative game, but there's a hidden traitor. It's 1944, and a boy was stolen by the boogeyman from his bed, and they were stolen into the closet. You are his toys working together, trying to find which exit the boogeyman is taking him to. But one of you, or more than one of you, depending on the player count, might be actually secretly working for the boogeyman. You're trying to figure this out. So you're going around as a team, it's a cooperative team. You're going around to new locations. You're fighting different bad, evil troops from the boogeyman. You're playing action cards to do certain things. You're trying to uncover encounters. You're trying to explore. You're trying to find which of the exits did he go out of? Because it's always the highest numbered exit. There's only 4 of them. So the exits range from 1 to 7. And if you get to the highest one, you guys, the game ends. And you can win if that's the highest number. But there's a twist, a few of them. If the number 1 is in play that game, and number 7's in play that game, actually number 1 is the best, is the actual exit you need to get to. So there's a little trickery there. Players are trying, not knowing who to trust, because someone could be actually secretly working for the big boogeyman, not doing the right things, doing bad things. You can help each other out with cards, and you can say you're going to play something and play something bad. You can switch roles with some certain cards. There's always a random roll that's at the beginning of the game that might be good or bad. So we might all be good at the beginning of the game. But someone might end up swapping with that card or swapping with another player, and then the paranoia goes up. This game is fantastic. It's 1 to 2 hours. It's from Third World Studios. They're going to be at booth 1245, 1245. This is the stuff of legend.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a one versus many, what do you call those? Hidden movement games. This is called Mind Management. And management is spelled MGMT. This is a game that was on Kickstarter that has already released to backers, but is now coming out into retail here. This game is very different theme-wise, but it's really cool. Someone's trying to control everyone else's minds. This is sort of based off of a comic, a popular comic. And so one player is trying to go around and recruit different people to control people's minds. And everyone else is trying to stop that from happening. And it's a very interesting thing. There's actually 2 games in this game. There's a learning game that's just very simple and is over in like 20 minutes. And then there's the full game. And even after the full game, which adds a lot more sort of gamer mechanisms, there's actually like 14 different boxes, 7 for each side. And you can, if you play this game multiple times, if one side keeps winning, you can unlock a box which has different cards and components and rules for the other team. That makes it a little easier for them to kind of win. So it's almost like you can play like with a 14 campaign, but you don't even have to play with the campaign. You can just play with the base game and it's more than enough already. This game is fantastic. It's unique. The art is really cool. The theme is different. The mechanisms are different from most other ones. I'm a huge fan of these games. I love Letters from Whitechapel. I love, the classics of Scotland Yard and Clue Museum Caper and Spectre Ops, some of the newer ones. This is one of my favorite genres, and this is an interesting twist that has a lot going on with it. It is fantastic. Check this one out. 1 to 5 players, 45 to 75 minutes, and it's from Off the Page Games, but they're going to be at booth 2203, which is the Surfin' Meeple booth.
Number 2.
Number 2 is an economic train game called Iberian Gauge. This is a very interesting game because this game is all about player interaction. You're going to be buying stock in different railroads, and then the players that have that stock can influence where those railroads build. And the very interesting twist of this game is that each railroad has its own treasury. And so when players buy stock, they spend their own money, and that money goes into the treasury, which any player that has stock in that is using that money to do things with that railroad, to build and to move and to try to make it worth more money. But the interesting twist is if someone gets too many shares in that, well, you're just going to let them do all the hard work. And in fact, if they get too many, the players who are in the minority shareholders will actually take that company's money and drain it and make sure that they don't actually get anywhere. Because at the end of each round, if you don't get to a city or an urban area, the stock tanks. And the more players that own stock in it, the further it tanks. So you can it's just got this amazing thing where you can totally screw things. Or you can really kind of work together if you're even. It's just, this game is probably the best interaction I've seen. I'm not a huge train game player. This is 60 to 90 minutes. It's definitely closer to the 90 minutes. It is awesome. Definitely better at more players. It plays 3 to 5 players. This is brought to us by Capstone Games. This is booth 731, Iberian Gauge. It is fantastic.
Number 1.
Number 1, another Capstone Games. These guys have been knocking it out of the park. They had a game on my most anticipated list, and now they have 2 in the ones that I've already played. These guys are just killing it lately. Earlier this year, they came out with Renature, and I love that one too. This one, my number 1 is Juicy Fruits. Now, I actually think that Iberian Gauge, it's a bigger, more grandiose, a more interesting, and probably a better game. But it's 3 to 5 players, and you really need 4 or 5 to make that game sing well, so it doesn't come to the tables often. Juicy Fruits plays 1 to 4 players. And with a 2-player game, it plays in like 20 minutes. With a 4-player game, 45 minutes. This is in their new family line. Juicy Fruits is beautiful. Do you remember those little puzzles when you were a kid? There were these little squares, and each square had like 24 or 25 little squares in there, and one of them were gone. And you're sliding these things around, and you're trying to like make a puzzle. That's what this game uses as a mechanism to gain resources. It's the most clever thing. So you're gaining resources by moving little boats around your island, and every space you move, you get a resource, like a pomegranate or a mangosteen. Who the heck knows what that is? Banana and orange. And so you're getting these resources, and then you can buy businesses. And these businesses do all sorts of things. Some of them go on your board, you move them, and you can get 1 of 2 different resources plus an additional one. Some of them just give you a bunch of points. Some of them actually are like ice cream stands, and you can move those and turn on resources to get a bunch of points. Some of them are just like huge buildings that do nothing but clog up your board, but they're worth a lot of points. It's almost like deck building where you turn the points that mucks up your deck and clogs it up. There's a ton going on here. Now, also at the beginning of the game, there's a bunch of boards on the outside, and you can turn on resources to get points and remove those. So it's almost like an engine building game as well, where you're like getting rid of a bunch of these boats, which opens up more flexibility on the board, which allows you to move your things further, which allows you to get more goods, it's just, oh my gosh, this game is amazing. It's easy to teach, easy to play, it's beautiful, has huge chunky bits, and it's phenomenal. Every game has different businesses, and depending on the businesses that are out there, you'll have different strategies each game. Oh, it's so good, so good, so good. Oh man, you are doing your own solitaire thing, but you are fighting over like how fast, who wants to get the businesses first. There's also an extra variant, kind of like a mini expansion in the game about making juice. Woo, baby, this game's awesome. I love it, I love it. It's gonna be my short game of the year list for family game of the year for sure. Juicy Fruits from Capstone Games. They're at booth 731. Run there and get this. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, my top best games that I've already played at Gencon. Tomorrow I'm gonna be releasing my most anticipated games, ones I haven't seen yet or played at all, but I'm very interested in. I hope you found maybe some games you hadn't heard about, or if you had heard about them, or you're hearing buzz, maybe you know more about them now, to see if you wanna run to one of those booths this week at Gen Con. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games, and helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing, thematic, premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.